Welcome, focused learners, to another detailed analysis. Today we are diving into an explainer that's, well, a little bit different from our usual topics. We're looking at shadows that come to life, the day mystery doesn't ask permission. We're going to unpack a truly fascinating cultural phenomenon, National Paranormal Day. We'll look at the data, the sociology, and the surprisingly profound human psychology behind why we actively, enthusiastically seek out the completely unexplainable. Let's start right off with Section 1, the appeal of mystery, and setting the scene in a dimly lit room. Okay, so I want you to mentally drop your daylight skepticism, just for a second. Picture this. It's the night of May 3, 2026. You're not just watching a horror movie on your couch, you are actually living out a curated, full-body sensory experience. Thousands of enthusiasts all around the world deliberately recreate this exact atmosphere to explore the unexplainable. As our sources beautifully describe it, the silence is only interrupted by the creaking of wood and the electric feeling that, just at the edge of our vision, something has moved. That electric feeling, it's entirely by design. People literally want to experience that spine-tingling jolt where the known, safe world just drops away. But you gotta ask yourself, why? Why, in our modern, hyper-rational era, do we crave this spooky feeling so deeply? Which brings us to Section 2. The overmapped world, and what we call the mystery deficit. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark thematic contrast at play here. This is where the sociology gets absolutely fascinating. Look, we live in a world that is completely mapped by satellites and perfectly explained by algorithms. There are literally no blank spaces left on the map. Your phone knows exactly where you are right now, an algorithm tells you what to buy, what to watch, and yeah, it might even try to predict who you want to date, though usually with terrifying inaccuracy, right? It's a highly predictable and frankly rigid reality. And because of this cold, calculated digital world we live in, we've developed a deep psychological need for the dark corners of our imagination, those unexplored corners inhabited by ghosts and UFOs. The tension between these two realities is exactly why National Paranormal Day exists in the first place. We have this fundamental built-in need to encounter things that a satellite simply cannot see and an algorithm just cannot predict. Moving right along to Section 3, Paranormal Resistance, and the catalyst of May 3rd. According to the source material, celebrating the paranormal isn't just about fun and games. No, it actually functions as a real form of cultural pushback. It's resistance against the cold homogeneity of modern digital urban life. And the absolute catalyst for this resistance? The number 3. Specifically, May 3rd. This date has been claimed as the day when mystery simply doesn't ask for permission, it acts. As a necessary escape valve for a society that is just utterly exhausted by constant logic. National Paranormal Day serves as this massive global moment where rituals, ones that bounce between the sacred and the profane, finally reclaim their rightful place in the public sphere. And you know, this fits perfectly into a much broader, wonderfully bizarre cultural pattern. The chronicles actually classify the whole month of May under the phenomenology of ritual eccentricity. So you have the paranormal on May 3rd, sure, but May also hosts ancient Indian fertility rites and totally absurd human traditions like people recklessly hurling themselves down steep hills chasing rolling cheeses, which honestly might be way more terrifying than any ghost. But what do all of these things have in common? They are beautifully, unapologetically irrational. They group the paranormal with other eccentric traditions to remind us that humans aren't just data-producing machines. We're complex creatures who actually need the sacred, the profane, and the utterly bizarre to feel fully alive. Let's quickly look at how this specific date came to be. About a decade ago, around 2016, this idea started gaining some serious internet traction. Basically, investigators of the unknown needed a safe space. They needed somewhere to share their findings, their blurry photos, their strange audio recordings, all without the fear of being ridiculed. The idea spread like wildfire. Fast forward to May 3rd, 2026, and our sources note that it has consolidated into a massive global observation. Now, what's a fantastic extra little detail here is that there is absolutely no specific historical origin or single founder mentioned in the records. And honestly, isn't that just appropriately mysterious? It's a massive day dedicated to the unknown, whose very own origins are slightly lost in the shadows. Now let's dive into Section 4, the power of vitamin T, and why it's a psychological necessity.
Okay, this is perhaps the absolute most fascinating takeaway from our source material. Engaging with the paranormal is actually about genuine psychological healing. The text identifies something it calls vitamin T, or vitamin T, which stands for time and transformation. I really want you to treat this almost like a legitimate medical necessity. The source makes a compelling argument that by actively celebrating the unexplainable, human beings recover this essential element to balance out the immense stress of contemporary life. Think about it. When we engage with the irrational, we step entirely outside of regular time, and we experience real transformation. This shared experience of stepping into the unknown generates vital social cohesion. We literally bond over the goosebumps. We connect over that shared hushed whisper of, "Wait, did you hear that?"
Which leads us to our final section, Section 5, a universal fascination and what unites us. We spend so much time focusing on what divides humanity. Borders, algorithms, politics, you name it. But the exploration of the unexplainable does the exact opposite. It's a powerful reminder that awe and mystery are fundamental components of our culture. They aren't just fringe elements for conspiracy theorists. They are core to the human experience. The sources remind us that even though we speak dozens of different languages across the globe, we all share the exact same fear and the exact same fascination for the invisible. The dark corners of our imagination look remarkably similar, whether you're sitting in Tokyo, Toronto, or Buenos Aires. When the lights go out, we are all completely united by the thrill of the unknown. So, I want to leave you with this final thought today. We live in a world that desperately wants to explain absolutely everything to you, but we need that vitamin T. We crave that social cohesion that comes from a shared sense of wonder. So I have to ask you, what invisible mysteries are you ready to embrace in your own mapped-out world? Really think about that the next time you get that electric feeling of a shadow moving just at the edge of your vision. Keep learning, keep exploring, and please, never lose your sense of mystery.